Your price, my terms, your price. All right, I see so many investors obsessing over purchase price. Purchase price matters, right? Like, you've got to get in a deal to where it makes sense. All right. However, financing matters, debt matters, all that matters too. So it's just like one big picture. I'll pay more if I can get favorable debt. All right. And here's the thing is, like, when I was buying houses, I'd pay retail, right? Just as long as I get 0% interest for a long time. Like, who cares, right? And just as long as the cash flow and all the stuff made sense. Same thing with mobile home parks. I mean, seller financing, I know it's like puffed up a lot, like that's the only way to do it, no money down, all this stuff. I'm not a big fan of that, but that's to each his own, whatever. But if you can get good financing, it matters. All right, so say that we went through an underwriting video, and say that you underwrote it. You're like, Travis said this, I'll underwrite the parks. I really want a 10 cap. We're a couple $100,000 off. So it doesn't work, right? Well, that could be a mistake. All right. So, ask the seller, will they hold any paper? Because it matters, right? Like, will you hold any paper? Meaning, will you seller finance? And if they say, yeah, then you can play ping pong back and forth. All right. Meaning, like, they might need a certain amount. It's like, okay, well, I asked the question the other day on a deal I'm about to lock up. It's a park. And the lady's like, well, I really want a partner. I've put $700,000 of my own cash. Like, I don't want to just let that go. But here's the thing is, she owed $1.1 million on a note. And at a 10 cap, it was worth $1.1 million to me. All right. And I'm like, damn, well, what does your current financing look like? And she's like, well, I have a 5.5% interest rate for the next 2 years. I'm like, that's awesome. What would it take for me to give you that you just walk away from this? And she's like, well, I really need $100,000. I'm like, why do you need $100,000? She's like, well, I'm about to lose a couple rental properties, right? And I need that money to pay the mortgages before they foreclose, because I really don't want this park. I got in over my head. I really want my rental properties, though. I bought those for like retirement, so I want to keep them. I'm like, so $100,000 will do that. Yeah. And you'll wash your hands clean in this park for $100,000. I'm like, cool. All right. Well, have you ever heard of subject to? She's like, no. I'm like, look, here's how it works. I would take over your payments, right? I'd be the owner, but you would stay on the mortgage. And the reason that is what I'd like to do is because I want to keep your fantastic rate. Makes sense. She's like, got it. Makes sense. Do you have any problems with that? No. Okay. So here's the caveat is there's only 2 years left on that before that balloon pops, right? So you've got to look at exit strategies if you're gonna, because I'm paying more. Essentially, I'm paying $1.2 million, right? Because her note's 1.1, so I'm paying more than what I'd normally pay. So I'd back into it and I'd be like, what do I got to do to this thing to get it to where I could refinance like quick if I need to? And that's what I do, right? If I get a couple more trailers rented, and clean up operations a little bit. But hell, worst case, it's like, it'd probably appraise at an 8 cap, which would probably have me coming out of pocket with little money if I wanted to refinance it day one. Obviously, I wouldn't do that, but I'm always looking at these strategies, like how can I lose, right? I think that's super important. I think a lot of people don't think about that. They always think about how can I win, but I'm always asking how can I lose, all right? So in that instance, I lose if I don't put any value add, and I got to put money out of pocket. But my risk is mitigated because I bought right. Still, I bought 100,000, and I didn't buy this yet, but this is my scenario. Now if she wanted more than that, you'd have to back into the numbers. If she wanted 200, you really need to back in the numbers and see if you can get out of it with a refinance, and it would all make sense. But that's what I mean. Like, in that instance, I didn't get my price, but I got my terms. All right. sometimes it's the other way around. It's like maybe the seller wants their price now, or you want your price, and they want their money now, right? Your price, their terms. Now is their terms. That's why these cash offers sometimes work out. It's like, hey, we can close this thing quick. I don't recommend that on a park. I always do 45-day due diligence, close 30 days after, something like that, just to give me plenty of time to A, get the money together, B, do all my diligence. I like to be warm and fuzzy, before I close on anything. All right, so like here's another one that's, my price, their terms. All right, or yeah, this is a different one. It was my price, their terms. I offered, I flipped the park a few years back, and the guy wanted about $550,000, expired on the MLS. It was downtown San Antonio, pretty prime park. I didn't want to part ways with it down the road, but I made a lot of money. But anyways, he wanted $550. I was like, man, because I was actually doing a 2% rule, like I showed you on the previous videos, if it's under 40 spots. And I'm like, I'm at 375. He's like, damn. All right, look, I'll do 375, but I want 10% interest with a 5-year balloon, or a 5-year optional lender balloon. I'm like, done. No problem, right? I cash flowed from day one. And get this. I only put in like 2 trailers, and I just improved operations, because I'm an operations guy, so that's what I'm good at. And I made $250,000 when I flipped it 2 years later. I never even knew if I was going to flip it. I thought I was going to keep it, but I was like, man, I really want bigger parks, because I like this park game. Like, the money you can make on these value adds is way more than houses. But that's the other side of the coin, right? I was talking to so right now I'm looking for mobile homes also. And this works with everything. And I was talking to the seller. He wanted 10 grand. It was like a early 2000s mobile home, but it needed some work. Nothing crazy, but I don't have to put carpet, flooring, paint. Like, there's some stuff, right? It's been sitting vacant 3 years. There's probably gonna be some electrical, plumbing. It's gonna add up. Anyway, I'm like, bro, I'm not doing 10 grand. I was like, I'll give you 4 grand. In my head, I was good at 5. And he's like, I can't do that. I'm like, no problem. Reach out to me if anything changes. He reaches out a week later. He's like, it's still available. Can you do 6 grand? I'm like, I could do 4,500. He's like, why not? He's like, well, I don't know. And I'm like, well, look, how about this? I'll do the 6 grand, but at $300 a month in payments. And he's like, done. And I'm like, that was easy. But then he thought I was giving him 4 grand down, or 4,500 down. So it's like, oh, sorry, misunderstanding. Not doing that. Doesn't make sense. But anyways, he's like, well, can you do 5 grand cash? I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Right? And he's like, but I need it gone pretty quick. I'm like, cool, I'll grab it in 2 weeks. So that's another thing, is like, my price, their terms. We started out with, their price, my terms, with the $300 a month, and we ended up my price, their terms. Okay? So always in negotiations, it's not always about what's up front, what's the price. It's about how you can help each other get what you want. All right. I was on a call with a client the other day, and he's learning the wholesale mobile homes, and he was just blasting offers, low offers, like a lot of people do. I'm like, look, that's not how you do it. You reach out to people and you're like, hey, what's up with this property? What's up, whatever. Get them talking. Why are you selling? You need to know motivation. Like, why do you need this money? Why do you need this price? You need to figure out all this stuff. And it's not just to keep people on the phone. It's to make a good negotiation, like I'm showing you right now. So on your next call, I want you to think about that. Whenever the seller asks for more of a retail price, ask them if they'll hold paper. All right? And ask them, what they actually need. Like, what do you need if you hold paper? What do you need down? Now, don't get me wrong. I don't like to mention down payment until they do. But you do need to know what they actually need in their pocket. And you could structure your deal from there. and just keep going back and forth. Be super honest with them. This is why I'm here. This is why I'm there. A lot of people shut these conversations down too early. So if you like this, share it, like it below, leave a comment. Appreciate y'all hopping on here. If you like more of this, follow me. Facebook, Travis Wells. Instagram, Travis Clay Wells. We have YouTube also, Travis Wells. This is the Property Profits Podcast, and I hope y'all have a fantastic weekend. Let's keep crushing.